everyone, this is Ellen from 1000 Splendid Books, and I know it's been a long time since I've done a book haul or book review or book anything really, so I'm really sorry about that, but I promise I am back now and I am ready to show you what books I've bought throughout the months of April and May. So this is going to be quite a long video, so I'm just going to go ahead and get started. So first up, and of course continuing on with my classics collection, I have Alice in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll. This is a Puffin in Bloom edition, so it's illustrated, and as you can see it's got a really beautiful, adorable cover, and on the inside it has these absolutely spectacular and gorgeous illustrations. If you love Alice in Wonderland, I would certainly suggest buying this book. It's of high quality, the paper is great, the illustrations are just fantastic, so if you love Alice in Wonderland, I would definitely recommend getting this edition. So continuing on with my classics collection, I got the Scarlet Letter by Nathaniel Ahern. This is the Barnes & Noble leatherbound flexbound edition. I don't actually know much about this novel. From what I know of the plot, it's about this woman who is branded essentially to be a promiscuous lady. She's branded with this Scarlet Letter, which kind of indicates that she is not morally right, I suppose, in the eyes of society. And from what I know, it's kind of like a comment about women's sexuality and about them displaying their sexuality in a kind of male patriarchal world. And I'm really looking forward to reading this novel. I've never read it before and it's a brand new classic for me. I also think it's so beautiful, just like the other Barnes & Noble flexbound editions. It's got this gorgeous cover with a, of course, beautiful spine, and on the back it says the Scarlet Letter was her passport into regions where other women dared not tread. And I just am really looking forward to picking up this novel, perhaps even soon, so I will keep you updated with what I thought about this book. So next in the books that I've bought this month is A Discovery of Witches by Deborah Harkness. I've never actually read this before or even really know what it's about, but I think it's an adult fantasy surrounding the tale of these witches, and I've heard really great things about it, so I'm really looking forward to starting this trilogy and I hope it lives up to the hype. So the next two books I'm going to show you I have previously read before, but I just didn't have my own copies of them, and that is The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss and The Wise Man's Fear. If you've been in and around BookTube, then you have definitely at least heard of these novels. They are fantastic, the storytelling is just superb, and it is some of the best fantasy that you can read at the moment. Patrick Rothfuss is an amazing storyteller and his world building is absolutely fantastic. I can't wait to reread these because it's actually been quite a few years since I have done, and I just really can't wait to get back into these books and relive all the awesomeness over again. So the next book I got is Red Rising by Pierce Brown. I haven't read the series at all, but I have heard absolutely fantastic things about it. It's a sci-fi fantasy trilogy, and I think it's set on Mars, but I'm not entirely sure. It's meant to be kind of set in an alternate dystopian future, and I think the human race is probably struggling to survive on Mars, and I think it's about the people who live there and kind of survive in this barren planet. And I really can't wait to start reading this. I've heard absolutely fantastic things. I'm going to get the second book in this trilogy, as it's the only one I'm missing now in hardcover, and that is The Golden Sun, and then I'm probably just going to marathon in it in 1 month and just hopefully it'll be as awesome as everyone says it is. The next book I'm going to show you is also something I haven't read in an absolute age, and that is Phillip Pullman's His Dark Materials trilogy. I read this when I was about probably 14 or 15 years old, and I absolutely loved it. I bought it recently because I wanted to relive the experience again, and I can't remember if I've already shown this to you in the March one. It was kind of around about April-March time I bought this. So hopefully I haven't already shown this to you guys, but if I have, then you're just reliving the awesomeness that is Phillip Pullman, and everyone should know how amazing his Dark Materials is. So next up, which I'm sure probably some of you won't be surprised about since everyone seems to have got this book this month, is A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J Maas. This is the second in her, I don't really know what this series trilogy is called, or I'm guessing it's the Court trilogy or something. It was a whirlwind of adventure. I really enjoyed it. The romance in it was great, the character development was fantastic, and it was just an exciting and thrilling read. And Sarah J Maas has yet again just completely blown me away, and I think she's a fantastic author. And I really do like this series. I probably like this book even more than A Court of Thorns and Roses. I just felt it was much stronger, much faster paced, and had a lot more going for it. So yeah, definitely recommend this series, probably just based on the fact that you can read this book alone. The next book I'm going to show you is a YA novel, and that is The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater. I don't quite know how to say her name, but I think that's how you pronounce it. I have no idea what this is about, but a lot of people on BookTube seem to kind of rave about it, and there's always pictures of it on Instagram and that kind of stuff. So this is pretty much the reason why I'm buying it and reading it, just to see what all the fuss is about. So the next book I'm going to show you is a historical fiction which I've already read, and that is Memoirs of a Geisha by Arthur Golden. I absolutely love this novel. It's one of my favourite historical novels. It's beautiful, enchanting, it just takes you away to kind of World War II Japan, and it's about geishas and how they have to kind of live in a changing world. And it's about their rituals and rites, and it's a very fascinating world to get even a glimpse into. So I would really recommend this book if you haven't read it already. So this is Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. I think I did buy this quite recently. It was an absolutely fantastic novel. It was been one of my favourite, strongest reads of this year so far. And if you love dystopian and you love kind of future fantasy, tech kind of related stories, I would definitely recommend this novel. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. It just did everything right. There was nothing about this book that I didn't like. As a software developer, as someone who was a bit nerdy anyway, all of the references to kind of the Oasis and the way the software kind of worked, I thought it was absolutely fantastic. A really original idea, and the 80s references in it are just absolutely fantastic. So definitely get this book and read it. The next book I'm going to show you, and I'm already going to apologise in advance to the author because I don't know how to pronounce your name, is The Buried Giant by Kazuo Ishiguro. It seems to have some kind of magical realism, or at least some elements of magic in this. I'm not overly sure whether it itself is meant to be kind of like a fantasy novel, but it seems to follow these two characters called Axel and Beatrice. I don't really know that much about it. I know it's set after the Romans have left Great Britain, and Great Britain's now kind of going into decline. But I've heard wonderful things about this story, and I have heard wonderful things about this author, so I'm sure it's going to be fantastic. The next 3 books I'm going to show you, I won in a competition that HarperCollins were running. They basically set up a Facebook post and were like, who is your favourite heroine? And I answered with Marie-Laure Leblanc from All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr, because I think she's just a fantastic heroine. She didn't need to be an assassin, she didn't even have sight, but she fought against the German forces which were occupying her city, and I thought in my head that makes her just as strong as a heroine as Selena Sardothian or Hermione Granger or anyone else. So because I answered with that and because I won, I got An Ember in the Ashes by Sabaa Tahir. This is a book I've read already, and actually was the main reason why I entered the competition. It was absolutely fantastic, just as good as the hype kind of led it to be. And yeah, I really recommend this book if you like YA and you like really well written YA. And then the next one was Flawed by Cecelia Ahern. I don't really know what this is about. It's a relatively new release. I haven't read it yet, so I will keep you guys updated as to what I thought of it. The last one I got was Dumplin by Julie Murphy. I don't really know what this is about either. I think it's to do with kind of body acceptance and body confidence, which is always a great message to give across. So I will let you guys know what I think of this as well. And I can't remember if I've shown you this book either, but I got Rebel in the Sands by Alwyn Hamilton. I actually really loved this story. I've already read it and it was absolutely fantastic. It's a great YA telling. It's set in a alternate world, so it's high fantasy. It's kind of a mixture of, I suppose, Middle East and Western, which already gives it kind of an interesting edge, and I thought the concept was brilliant and I thought the characters were quite well defined. And yeah, I just really enjoyed it, and I can't wait to pick up the second in the series whenever that comes out. So the next book I got is The Watchers by Neil Spring. I don't actually know too much about the plot or what happens in this, but I have heard on the kind of grapevine that this is a really good book, so that's why I got it, and I got it dirt cheap of Amazon, so that was another reason as well. So I'm really looking forward to getting my teeth into this one. So the next two books I got were both by the same author, and that is Elantris by Brandon Sanderson and Bands of Mourning by Brandon Sanderson. The main reason I got this novel, because I don't have the other two novels like of my own copy, which is The Alloy of Law and The Shadows of Self, is because of this little sticker right here. As soon as I saw it in Waterstones, which is a bookstore we have here in the UK, I had to get it, and this is his signature right here. So I am really happy with this purchase, and I'm going to have to buy the other two novels in this series before I can read this one. And then we have, of course, Elantris by Brandon Sanderson, and I haven't actually heard too much about this, but I know this is his debut novel, so it'd be interesting to kind of compare with his later work such as the Stormlight Archives and the Mistborn trilogy as to how his writing style has developed and changed. So also looking forward to reading this one. And then finally, to wrap up this mammoth book haul, is The Killing Lessons by Saul Black. I've been wanting to read a bit more crime, but I wasn't overly impressed with, I think I either gave that 3 or 4 stars out of 5. It was an alright novel, it was a bit creepy, but I just wanted something that would capture me and absolutely enthrall me. And this one had quite a high amount of reviews. I didn't read the plot because I didn't really want to go in it with any expectations, but I've heard absolutely wonderful things about this, and the reviews looked fairly good, I think pretty good actually. So I'm looking forward to reading this novel and basically getting into more crime. So that wraps it up for my book haul for this month. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Sorry again about my weird hiatus, I'm definitely back now. Leave a comment down below and let me know what you've bought or what you've read throughout these past couple of months. Like, subscribe, and I shall see you guys around later. Bye!